Welcome back to another week of technical analysis versus Jim Cramer. Got Matthew Tuttle with me, and we're going to throw a little shade on him this week. He had some things come up in the lightning round that we're shaking our heads about.
As he always does.
Oh man, never ceases to entertain that one. He was a little bit adamant about buying this RDNT thing that I have on my grid right here, and I kind of mapped it out. I'm like, okay, sure, I can believe a 1-for-1, but then it printed this pretty big wick out here, and then even on the daily chart, we had this big old bearish engulfing here. I don't know. I'm not quite ready to short this just yet, but if I did, I'd be looking for a target of like $30, which isn't a huge move, but hey, $5 is $5. How are you
Yeah,
thinking
it's
of
looking like a double top right now. Where's the
definitely looking a little extended?
35.18 is the previous high.
I like it. And
So
then
to
just
me, if
looking
it broke down below that, that's a double top short sell as far as I'm concerned.
looking good. And usually they'll give half the trend back. So like, if we do end up staying a little hot here and pushing 37, cool. I'll just be more prone to short it. But yeah, I'm looking at today being a big old bearish engulfing candle. If we close that, I could certainly consider a short. Maybe looking at it tomorrow to go take her down to like $32 or so. And then if it rides a little more um, momentum there, maybe even go so far as like $30.70 previous resistance there. I like that one, but man, did he? What did he say about that thing? I was kind of trying to read that. Uh,
Yeah, Radiant, I don't know if I remember. Let's see if that's on.
I had it on my list because he had it on his list, and he keeps changing his mind about stuff. So it's like by the time I get to it, it's
Well,
like
yeah, that's a pain in the ass.
yeah, I was like looking at FTFT, and I'm like, he's long. No, he's short.
Yeah, no, that was lightning round from the fifth. He likes it.
Gotcha.
I got it.
There it was. Okay. I was wondering where the heck that came from. I know I had it on my list for a reason. And like I said, by
Yeah,
the time
yeah.
I make a list, he's changed his mind.
Well, yeah.
Oh man, it makes my head spin. But yeah, I'm liking this for a little short, and then maybe long after it starts to find support there, we might be able to see it cruise on up, finish a move. But look a little further
Yeah, I
left
mean
here.
it looks a lot. I don't know if you're familiar with Gil Morales, but he's got a saying for a chart pattern like this. He calls it a punch bowl of death. So
Yeah,
that's kind of what it looks like to me.
looking at the weekly, it sure does. And I was just kind of looking further left because that's what I love to do. If I find some analyst telling me to buy something, I'm very skeptical. And looking at the previous high, sure, we broke that, but I mean, around $38, things are going to start hitting the fan on this thing if it's going to do what it does and start to capitalize. And you know, looking left, it's been there before. This was a nice example here. Gave a nice pullback. Eventually, maybe we can get long, sure. But would I buy it as an investor here? No. Would I buy it as a bullish trader here? Hell no. you know, I would rather wait and short this thing and then sit on my hands afterwards until it's time to exit and then maybe consider a long later. But you're right. I mean, if this thing starts getting capitalized here, we start to revert this trend and go right back to square one. I'd love to take this thing to $15 short. Good Lord. But in time, in the short term, it's a trader's stock. I wouldn't, go pounding the table saying buy, buy, buy on some sort of TV show if I were anybody else. uh, long story short, don't do Kramer. Moving on, there was the next one he was talking about NFE, which is kind of an interesting one. I didn't do any math on it yet because I wasn't interested in trading it until I started looking at this move. He's saying buy. Of course, he top ticked this move, but
As he usually does. Yeah, breaking below the 10-day moving average. Looks like a nice short.
and on the weekly, that is one big stinking wedge. That's like the mother of all bull flags on the weekly chart. But why? Well, we know where the angular resistance is on this thing. Let me draw that real quick. Pretty plain to see we hit it. Um, Great short term short. I like that. Looking for probably a target right around that midpoint around $16.70. Damn, son, that's a hell of a drop. Um, can we stay short on it beyond that? I don't know, but it's looking like a good short-term short for sure. And sure enough, he tended to top tick that one because he was pretty adamant about buying that one. Um, that's where this bar comes from. That's where we always look. When Cramer speaks about it, we find a lot of liquidity and a lot of volume comes in. It gets a lot of attention by a lot of retail and a lot of institutions alike. And sure enough, they shorted the top of that bar when he's pounding the table, right back down to the bottom of it. Easy trade there for day traders. And then now we're looking at continuation. We may slam back into this level around 37 and 40 cents. And if we smoke that, well, it's a pretty short trip to 36.70. And then look left. We've got this entire
Yeah,
trend.
3660 is the 20-day EMA, which is that's a moving average I really like.
Oh yeah, this is a different account, so I've got to add. I forgot to add the 50 on here. I'll do that later. But
Yeah, I mean 50 is the lookout below. That's 3351.
right, and then I like to trade shorter terms. So of course, I use my 8 and my 20, and yeah, that divergence is already on point. And we get too far off of this mark here, we can certainly close this gap right down to like 37. 37.40 is a good target, and then like we said, 36.70 is another. 36.60 would be the bottom of this range bar here. Cool, good short. That would definitely look good on SJIM. Oh, what else was he long on? Take Two. You ever trade that one?
I have not.
It's never really been an interesting trading stock to me. I mean, every time you hear news of like, oh, they're breaking out a new video game or this or that, it'll get a little hype wave and be good for day trading. But I would never swing trade this thing. I don't like it. But now I'm looking at maybe we get a nice measured move out of this. But dude, that's going to be a hell of a long time to sit on your hands and wait for it to finish. Um, sure, you look left on this thing, and of course, they've been making money for years and years and years. So I could see why Cramer would like it as an investor. But this kind of volatility, loves to pull back very suddenly. So I don't know
Yep.
that I could buy that. And if we consider this as a angular resistance, which it did reject here, and then come back and split a channel out of this, pretty easy to see the targets. And then all you gotta do is pick it off in a weekly chart and be like, okay, well, let's see if we can short that. Maybe we can trade it, but it's never really given great setups for swing trading. So like if you've got to move a lot of volume on that thing, like if you're running an ETF, it might not be as interesting to trade. But if you're
Yeah, for
looking
me, this is one of those play it as it lies. It's right between the 10 and the 20.
right,
So, I mean, either it goes up and breaks through the 10, which could trigger a buy, or it breaks through the 20 and you've got a nice little short.
right. And I'm kind of looking at maybe an interesting short. There's definitely a gap here on the daily chart to fill, back to like 150. But would I want to do that on an equity at this price, 154 for a $4 move on an outlay risk of $150? I don't know about that, man. It's just even the options change a little too expensive for my taste to take advantage of a $4 move. Even though I trade SPY every damn day, it's still kind of like you know, not something that's
Yep.
particularly interesting to me. Can we chart it? Yes. Can we pick off some price target? It sure can. It's pretty simple. This is you know, just a descending channel at this point, even though it's got very little dope in this range. Pull up the weekly chart and the monthly chart, and yeah, you can see all that stuff. But it's just it doesn't make big enough moves to make it outside of my patience threshold. You know what I mean? I can't trade it. I don't like it. But he's saying buy, 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 and maybe long term we can move some momentum into that. But I mean, the size you'd have to put in is just it's beyond what I would consider a reasonable swing trade, or even a short term short trade. Um, moving down the line, the next thing you mentioned was this other thing that was kind of interesting. WY was the ticker, and I don't know. That
Yeah.
looks pretty choppy to me.
Yeah.
He said bye bye bye. We've got some pretty parabolic moves out of this thing. That was a pretty easy full trend, half back, full measured move, extension another half above. Where do we go now? And if he's saying buy it, that was Monday or Tuesday. I think he said buy it. No, now we're saying it top ticked. We're coming down. Definitely somebody grab some liquidity on this, but we got a little wedge here, so we got a chance at holding around this area around $31. Maybe we can go long out of this thing, but I'm not so sure it's going to be that energetic in the short term. Let me look
Yeah,
further
no,
left.
again, it's squeezed in between the 10 and the 20.
Right. So I mean, it gave you the
I
move
mean, it did
already.
undercut the 20 today and it's back above, but I mean, this isn't like one of those stocks that's just going to take off.
No, and then again, I'm looking at the short term, even on a weekly chart. We've got kind of a middle of this range type of pivot here. $30 is like dead on with that. Would I trade something short from $31.20 to $30? Probably not. That's just not
Nah,
enough.
better ideas.
There's just not enough juice in there to be worth the squeeze. I mean, that's gonna be one dry lemon. It is a dividend paying stock too. So I mean, usually those tend to have more subtle movements. Would I wheel trade this if the options chain had enough liquidity? I probably still wouldn't because it just doesn't have big enough moves to really be worth my time. I've got better things to do. Um,
Yep.
I mean, he goes and likes things, but like he doesn't tell you how long he's going to like it for, and that's kind of annoying. If you're going to try and be a trader and go off of Jim Cramer signals, more power to you. But you know, I got better things to do than mess with a stock that's going to move $1 and
Right.
take that much time to do anything. Um, Next one you mentioned was IDCC here, which was I want to say he got that one right. you know, um, in the short term, he said buy, buy, buy the other day. It's made its range, but now we're looking at some capitalization. There's some profit taking happening here, and that was quite the parabolic
Which
move.
one is that?
IDCC, Interdigital.
Yep.
He mentioned a couple other stocks to play along with that, but looking at this move, I mean, that was parabolic as all get at. It
Yeah,
extended
I don't like parabolic moves.
no, extended a nice 2-for-1 measured move, but it was so hard to see that like he bought high, sold higher. I'm sure. I wonder if he's still long in the dang thing or if he's taken the fund into it. But man, I don't think I would stay long here. That's some definite profit taking there. And if we close, a doji in this range, sure we can come back down and start testing the $85 range. That's pretty much on the table. Um, Cracked $97 after a pullback here, and it will certainly do that. So I'd be careful, but I could say I'll throw him a kudo. He did say bye, 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 and he did like this one, and man, it did shoot up. So it brought the hype for sure. But just
Yep.
be careful.
Broken clock, right twice a day.
That's it. And looking at the 2 hour on this thing, even I found a couple of setups where, yeah, we got the measured moves, we got the nice 2-for-1 and an extension out of it. But this is where I would never consider buying higher to sell higher with something like this. But I definitely look at it for if it starts cracking support levels, I might short it. Maybe take it back to previous support levels, but definitely be careful because this thing's nice and nasty volatile. It's got some big moves in it, and that can really have a quick effect on your account. Definitely my style. I love trading volatility, but this thing I'm going to wait probably another day or so before I take a direction on this for a quick swing. But definitely scalp worthy. I mean, break it down even to shorter time frames, and yeah, man, you got measured moves and price targets all over the dang place. You could certainly scalp this as a day trader. Definitely interesting there. Um, I'll give him one kudo. He got this one right, but only for a short term. Once everybody chased it,
Yeah,
um,
let's check back tomorrow.
yeah, right. And everybody was quick to sell that, once it hit that peak. So, you know, I don't think people are going to try and hold this much longer after a nice parabolic swing like that. It's going to be, everybody's going to run for cover. But hey, good call, man. All right, Jimbo, we'll pat you on the back. Um, Another one he's mentioning here is SMCI. And this is kind of an interesting one, too.
SMCI is it's I don't know if you've ever traded this one.
Not yet.
It's a retail favorite,
Oh yeah,
and you look at these bars. It moves intraday.
yeah. I like this. This might be my kind of stock. That range has been
Yeah,
pretty
the
simple.
retail guys love this, but I mean, it's a roller coaster.
That's what we love is volatility. So let's say we've split this in the middle here, right around 270 or so. It's got plenty of movement. We're looking at a one for one short back to support in this channel here, but kind of keep it as a more of a pivot trade. So trade from one to the other and just start
I
picking
mean,
off
at
those
least you
levels.
do have very well defined support and resistance on this one.
Absolutely.
It's very wide, wide ranges.
And it gives you all the liquidity zones too. So I've got some key pivot areas, but then like, you've got A to B. You can go and say, okay, well, there's a wick. All right. There might be some buyers here. If it bounces off of this, trade to the next one. Go and retrace this bar, give half this move back straight to the pivot, 270. If it breaks below this, well, pretty easy to look left and find all your support and resistance areas. So yeah, this is a pivot trader's dream. Um, Great trading stock, but would I say, Jim might have top ticked this one? Yeah. He was saying buy, 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 but that was the other day. And as soon as he spoke about it, there's the Cramer kiss of death candle right there. Pretty easy to see. Um, I love this thing. I'm going to keep this on my radar because I think I'm going to trade it, but I wouldn't go and just chase this and hope it goes higher. At this point, I'm going to wait for this range to break and trade whatever comes out of it. It's either going to retrace back to that 270 pivot or it's going to break a move lower. And let's say, you just grab this range here as a mirror image, split it down there. There's your target. About 240 would be a good bear target if this thing breaks support. Compare that with the daily chart, and that gives you this range bar to the penny. Cool stuff. I like this as a trading stock, but for now,
Yeah, I will trade it intraday. I very rarely would hold this overnight because God knows where it's going to open up.
agreed. Yeah, this is a risk for sure. Um, yeah, definitely don't hold this overnight. Day traders dream, pivot traders dream. You can swing a couple of trends on this thing. Just you got to be on your toes. You got to know what you're doing, and for sure be a good price action trader. That's my kind of bag right there, baby.
Yep.
I like it. But that was definitely, you know, we got a chance to throw some shade at Jim on this one. He definitely top ticked this. So maybe in the long run it'll bounce, but I wouldn't go
Oh,
chasing his dreams.
it might, but still, it's you know, I wouldn't give him any credit on this one. He got that one wrong.
Definitely. CLF, again, another top ticker. He was saying buy, 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 pounding the table on this one. It finished its measured move down. That was easy on a 2 hour chart. I mean, anybody worth their salt can see that move. Pretty simple. Whoops, I meant to drag that down.
But if you're not worth your salt, maybe you miss it.
Right, and that was well, Jim was worth a salt on this one because he top ticked the crap out of this. Um,
Um,
you look at these moves and they're pretty easy to spot. I mean, you look at your previous accumulation, that's a pretty good bear target. They're going to keep shorting this, I think, probably run it down to like $17.20 or so. Good penny stock to trade. Basically, it's under $20. Scalp it like it's a penny stock. And will
yeah,
it?
it's involved in a potential merger with U.S. Steel. That's why I stay away
Ah,
from it.
Cleveland
But
Cliffs. Yeah,
Jimmy's always liked NUE, which is similar, same industry, and very similar chart pattern. Actually,
I've,
looks like a punch bowl of death as well.
I've actually done for a time. I did some income strategies with wheel trading and running spreads and synthetics and stuff on X U.S. Steel. But I kind of fell out of that when it just lost its range. But same thing, every time Jim talks about it, boom, you get a couple big volatility moves, and then that's it. It just quits for a while. So like I would just kind of time the beat where if he mentioned it, I wanted to know, and I'd just go sell some options. Um,
Yeah, I mean, U.S. Steel is the cleanest chart.
yes,
CLF, NUE are all over the place. U.S. Steel, you've got some levels to play around with.
right. It's more of the trader's chart for sure. This one, It can be, if you can trade some quick measured moves, and if you can move your houses down the road fast enough, you can do very well trading this one. This is a definite trader stock, but yeah, he top ticked it, hands down. Um, I think this is the one he was talking about on Monday's lightning round, if I'm not mistaken. That was probably where this all came from, and here we are down back to giving that whole candle back basically. Would I go long here? No. I'm going to wait and see what the Bears do to this thing. Maybe I'll get a couple trades out of it. This is becoming a trader's chart. It's got some pretty good price action in it, and it's pretty simple to see. This is a big old accumulation area on the daily. So if it hits some further bear targets, we get a 2-for-1 out of this top down. 1670 is a damn good target, and then start watching for another trade setup. It'll give you a break on that range, and all ranges break, and when they do, they give you a move. Yeah, I'm going to keep this one on my radar for trading, but you're right. I mean,
Jim just tweeted, by the way, he's going to be in Dallas this weekend. I would assume the Eagles are playing the Cowboys.
you know what? I'm sure we got some sports bettors in the group. Be interested in that. Give the team the Cramer kiss of death.
He's doing his mezcal bottle signing. I can't wait for the one in Greenwich. He hasn't done that one yet.
Hey, maybe we should see if he can sign a bottle for us. He had a few on the sell table here. And one that he had on the buy and then flipped it to sell and then can't make up his mind about is that the FTFT move. And
FTNT.
the FTNT or yeah, FTNT. Sorry, not FTFT. Jeez. Thanks for correcting me. If I'd have got that
Yeah, so
wrong.
this is one actually he was positive on it when it was up. Then it had bad earnings, gap down. You see that.
Oh yeah.
And then he flipped negative on it. Now he's all over Palo Alto and Crowd.
Well, damn, it gave us a pretty good move there. Weekly measured move. It hasn't been met for the Bears yet. I think the Bears are going to try to take this down to $39. Looking at the weekly, that was that famous double top there. First top lower, second top higher, retrace. We could range out of here around half that move. Sure, we could find support around $45, but if it smokes that, it might be a good bear target for swingers. And then looking at day trading, good lord, those gaps are glorious, but you'd have to be trading them, a really short-term chart for those. If it finishes this move and finishes this gap as a mirror down here, sure, it'll give it to you, but pull that into a 2-hour chart real quick, and then let me shrink it down. Let me see here. I had to yell at the kids. So I'm looking at this move here. That's already occurred, but we're looking for kind of halfway in this zone here. If I shrink it down on a 2-hour chart, you can have a quick target of about $48.40 on it. So down from 50, almost worth the salt. Not quite worth the juice. But then that big old gap here, if that gives a continuation beyond that point, then you get the good stuff down to $39. So I'll keep this on the radar for a trading stock for sure.
Yep.
He was saying sell, and I guess we could almost give him the thing on that, but he was bullish first, so he kind of flips his mind on this thing quite a bit. So yeah, okay. This particular call where he said sell, okay, I'll give him that, but for now,
Right.
I'll wait for another move to trade this later. Not something I would go and stick money in and sit on it for a while. That's not a place I'd park it. MASI was another one he said sell on, and this one was I think one that I might be a little more interested in. Yeah, short squeeze.
Yeah, this one looks interesting. It's
So
got a nice gap fill up there.
said he didn't like it. Short squeeze. I put the on my other account. I put the dope together on this thing, and I was looking at this. I'm like, oh hell no, I'll buy that. Take this measured move on, and sure enough, we're just about to complete it. Top target on this thing is about 109, 110. Up from like 93.60, but he said sell, and no, he
Yeah.
was wrong. Um, let's just go and look at this as just a basic measured move. It's just simple charting. Draw down box and repeat it. That's Pretty simple. So the bull target is, right up here. Maybe even a little bit above $1.10. Maybe we get to like $1.15. But you know, charting becomes easy at that point, and sure, that goes right about to our previous high. You got the wrong end of that one, man. Sell, sell, sell was not the answer on that. Shame on you, Jim. There's some shade for you. um,
Now, do you have, speaking of sell not being the right call, have you seen his calls on the crypto miners,
um,
CLSK, Riot, and Mara?
I didn't. I wasn't paying attention to those.
Oh,
Did he
yeah,
make some?
he's been telling people for a couple of weeks not to buy those, and those are up like some ridiculous amount of money since he's made those calls.
Oh, of course. Oh, Riot would have been a great trade. I did look at Riot, but I wasn't looking at it because of him.
Yeah, we've been long Riot and Clean Spark. He did Mara the other day, but it had already run up so much. It was like I'm not going to go long Mara here.
No. Oh, that's a classic triple top, though, dude. Profit taking happening here, but there's been kind of some fun stuff with Bitcoin lately too, where you got some analysts saying they're taking profit here at that level in the 44 area, and they're still buying it. It's like, why? I mean, I think maybe we get the finishing move, maybe hit that high again, but I would love to see it accumulate for a while here before we got anything out of it for Riot. So yeah, definitely the bull trades have been on, but you're looking at some profit taking happening here as some of the analysts are mentioning. Yeah, they might not be buying it anymore. I don't know. We might take it a little higher back to the previous high again one more time, around $16. But just be cautious on this thing. It can really. I don't want to compare this to the Widowmaker, but that can be a
No,
Widowmaker.
natural gas is the widowmaker.
Yes, and
Nothing's like that.
I did take the challenge, the other year, and I killed it on natural gas. But now it's like not as exciting anymore. It can be a Widowmaker. A lot of people chase that and got their lunch ate. But this can do that to you. This can either be a quick reversal if we close a weekly doji here by Friday. Watch out because we'll eat this bar, I'm sure, back to like 1150. Um, if it continues to be bullish, and it certainly can, it can be irrational much longer than you can be liquid. Can we hit $20
Yep.
again? It's possible, and we're kind of accumulated to the point where the profit taking is starting to look like it might turn around on the daily, and we can start plotting some pretty quick liquidity zones. And I would say short-term $17 move is pretty much working, and then maybe an extension 20 if Bitcoin stays bullish like it is. But definitely be on your toes for this. This is something that can flip around on you. But if Jim was saying sell it, he was wrong. Yeah, another one. Um, Mara was much the same. I mean, MARA is one I was looking at. He had it on his 10 things to watch in the stock market list, but he did not do much with it in the lightning round. But yeah, he was just saying, "Don't buy it, don't buy it." I'm not
Yeah, I
convinced I
mean,
should
people
buy it.
have been calling, obviously, about the crypto miners with what's going on in Bitcoin.
Yeah, and if you want to ask for advice from an analyst like that, and then take that advice and trade it, I would highly not recommend that. Even with the stuff we're talking about, I mean, we're not financial advisors here, but we look at these things and we realize it's just simple price action. What do you want? Um, Looking at liquidity here on this thing, I would say that Mara would probably be right in that range. It did hit half that liquidity and start to sell a little bit. But if we can push through this area, maybe we can reach that previous high and hit the $20 bill. But for now, just kind of be on your toes. Be a little bit leery. This is one hell of a parabolic run, and that's looking choppy
Yeah.
at the top. So don't leave your money on the table as it comes back and retraces if it does reject here, because it's likely to come and do that. So don't let it eat your lunch. You take a few bites of that
Yeah.
sandwich first. So that's all I can say about that, really. Um, let's see. We went through MASI. We got Crocs, which is another freaking. I almost call this thing a meme stock. CROX. Is retail really chasing this thing around? Sure. It's made some
Retail,
bullish
yeah,
moves.
retail's chasing Crocs around. Looks like it's butting up against its 200-day moving average, which is right where that gap fill is too.
Yep. So, I mean, can we make a nice big old measure move out of this? Sure. I would like to probably say half is better, around 113 or so, 114 maybe. But I mean, he said to sell this thing. It's on my sell list, and maybe you got that part right for the short term. But I think the buyers are starting to take interest in it here on the daily. So, if we punch through that 111, 112 area, we could certainly close that gap. So, yeah, I would say if he said sell, I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing just run its little head off. But it's quite the meme stock. I mean, I know a lot of people definitely buy the product and stuff. I get that. I get why you'd want to be along this company. It makes money. But if you're looking at it from an investing standpoint, sure. But a trader, they're going to look for targets, and I know that they're probably going to see about half this channel, and maybe bump it up to 112.50 or so. I'll make that as a mean revision for that channel. Sure. Okay. I can live with that. But I mean, like, would I stay long above that? I'm going to wait because I'm likely to experience some accumulation in that area. So, swing trading, we have a target. We've got a pretty good trade on if it works out. But just be careful. Watch this accumulation. If this range is going to break, it'll give you a sign whether to go bullish or bearish on it. But if you followed Jim and you sold this, there were buyers waiting for you, and here they are. So
Yeah.
be ready for this to rip. He gave it the bad touch, and we are reacting from it. So I could see this thing maybe breaking out and finishing that move after all, but let this range break. It's got to give us something to give us some sort of go signal here and, split this guy off. So, like, we break 105, game on. We can take it, 107, short term, maybe extend the trend up to 112.50 ish. But you certainly got to be on your toes for this thing because it makes some pretty crazy moves. It's just, I haven't traded this one, but I might start looking to trade it pretty soon here. He was starting to look at a couple of energy stocks that he was not happy with. One being Plug Power, which I'll get to next, but NEE was another one. I traded Plug, and I love trading Plug, but this thing was like kind of interesting for a moment. It is a dividend stock, so it's probably going to have likely shorter moves. And boy, what a yield on that thing! Um, could this be something you would wheel trade as a triple income strategy stock? We'll have to see what happens with this resistance level first, because it's given half this sell off back already, and it's visited it twice. I don't know if I would go long or short on this thing yet, but it is a nice dividend stock, so the yield hunters will be interested in it, I'm sure. But I'm going to wait and see if it breaks this $60 level with some force and starts to eat this trend, and maybe have a target of like 66, 67 bucks for the previous high on this thing to go long if I'm going to triple income it. But that's all going to depend on whether it's liquidable or liquid on the option side or not. I haven't really had
So
time to
of
take a
all
look.
the utilities, I think knee has the best options, but I mean it's made quite a move with rates coming down. I think it needs to consolidate that a little bit. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a utility.
Agreed. And it does have a pretty nice dividend yield on it. I mean, it's right in there. But I mean, I'm kind of the guy who loves to make options become my primary focus when it comes to dividend stocks. So it does have a high yield, but I know I could yield more on options. So if it's liquid enough, that might be something worth looking at if it can break this range and give you some interest for some bulls to finish the move. Sure, we can wheel trade that, but I would be a little cautious and wait for this level to break first. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. And if it gives us a pullback, all the better. You know, drop it down to like 58, 57, somewhere in that range. We could be interested. Kind of reminds me of when I was trading REITs through the shutdown. Bought them for pennies on the dollar and just rode them up, collected the dividends, and sold options on them week to week to week to week. And until they ran out of gas, and then I closed them and moved on. The one thing I hated was waiting for the K1 forms to come in the taxes like 2 days before you got to file. That drives me nuts.
Yep.
I don't like trading those anymore. That was a pain in the butt. I'd almost rather trade crypto. Plug power. Let me get that
Crypto's
out
a
here.
lot of fun.
It is. And if you're paying taxes, you have to like paying taxes because that means you're making money. Plug power. He said he's lost interest in this thing, and I can see. I would like to see a short squeeze on this. Holy smokes! Because that would give us a quick move to $8, 100% return. I like that. That could give us a real nice move. But keep an eye on it
Yeah,
here.
this is one of those where his stance on not buying stocks that don't make any money has worked out for him. But yeah, you could. I mean, this could squeeze at some point.
I think so. It's very similar to that Snap setup. I was looking at Snapchat and just I've been long on that thing since 9:52. And same situation. We got this gap to fill to the left. We've got mean regression of that measured move to like $8 is very possible if it gets loose. So eat that half back. Watch for a squeeze. It's got to break resistance and give us some moves. But he said sell, sell, sell. He doesn't like this thing anymore. He said I don't like plug power anymore. I'm pulling the plug on plug power. I think was his headline, and it's
Yeah,
like,
and he said that a couple of times, so he's been right on this one.
and here like he was getting a little sick of it. I'm sure he got screwed on that one. But then here he's saying pull the plug on it. That's when the short squeeze will happen. So I think he might have bottom ticked it for the short term to give us a good swing trade. It certainly made a good day trade when he was saying sell the other day. It picked up and went right to resistance and pulled off. So okay, I'll give him the kudo on that move, but I think he might have bottom ticked the rest of it because if this starts getting a squeeze on, man, it can really shoot that gap pretty quick. So watch this thing. It'll be worth trading soon. But in the meantime, I'm going to wait for the setup to break, and it'll either give us a quick range down here to like 340, or it'll bounce through this and start to eat this back up. So
Or it'll go to zero because they've
yeah,
already said they're not sure they can
yeah,
continue as a going concern, which is why they're down where they are.
there is that, and that's the other thing. It's like the company doesn't make money. I mean, look left. It The hype wave has been capitalized, and here we are back to where we started. So I mean, yeah, this thing could definitely go to zero, that's for sure. But in the meantime, it's going to give us a couple squeezes beforehand, I think, even if they're just minor ones. So I'm a little bit afraid that he might have bottom ticked this just a little bit when he said pull the plug on it. Might get one more squeeze out of that, so that's what I'm looking for. I'll take the trade. Definitely a trader stock, but I certainly wouldn't invest in this company long term. I wouldn't even be interested in wheel trading it, that's for sure. But yeah, it's a trader stock, so definitely it'll either give us a quick break down here or a quick break up here. Sure. Oh, what else did he have? He had a hold on his list. Stellantis. I think he might have top ticked this for a hold. STLA. One of the big
Yeah, we'll
three.
see. I mean, nice little gap there, but
He said hold it after this move, and that's just scary. I mean, that thing's like way up there where it shouldn't be. Um, it's pretty much finished this half back and measured move. It's right at resistance. So if he's saying hold this, I don't know. I'm expecting a pullback. I would say to about $20 would be appropriate in the weekly chart. And if it gets into that
1983 is the 50-day.
right, and that's just below half this move. So I like that too. That'd be a good extension. Yeah, I certainly wouldn't be holding it if I'm long already. I would be taking profit here. That's what I would do. But you certainly can make your own decision on that. But can it keep trending higher? I don't know. I think it's right at the point where there's going to be some profit taking. So I don't have any
Yep.
faith in it to go long. But I could definitely see it as being a good short-term short. Yeah, I like that short actually. um, he said hold. Let this wedge. If this wedge breaks and fails, you got the 60-40 rule on the old bull flag there. If this is a bull flag, it's got a 40% chance of failure, and when it fails quick. When that wedge breaks, it'll give you this move back pretty easy. Keep it on the radar. It's a good trading stock, but I definitely would not take his advice and hold it at this point. I wouldn't.
No.
Might short that. That could be something that you might be interested in for SJIM for a quick scalp. Give it a week, get back to that $20 target.
Yeah, we have some better stuff. We
Yeah,
avoided that one.
there's definitely better to trade out there, and it's not my favorite company to trade. I'd rather trade GM and Ford when it comes to automotive stuff anyway. And I don't have my dope on this particular account because I'm in a different account. But you guys saw the massive measured move I had plotted out on GM, and it hit half that. It gave this target and half back. Would GM be a good long here? I'd probably see Jim start talking about it in the next few weeks here to go long, maybe. I don't know if it's going to continue to break back in to give this whole thing back. I think it's just testing previous support as resistance, and it may resume a bear move, but that's just my opinion of GM. I don't like them. What I do like, Toyota has been killing it. I mean, just killing it. Now they're kind of at that 190 area where profit taking may occur. So, if you were talking about
Yeah,
the
sitting on some moving averages here.
bowl of death there, well, that might just peak out to that 190, 200 target one more
What is it?
time.
Is that a weekly chart?
It is a weekly chart.
Oh, okay. I was looking at the daily.
And the daily,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, there's not as much of a punch bowl though.
no.
It's a little wider. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
Now, I was looking at this a couple weeks ago and like, it's got that cup and handle. Look, there's your handle. It pulled
Yeah, yeah,
back. It
yeah.
gave you the handle breakout almost. It could go a little higher. Sure, it can hit that $200 bill and hit the rim line up here, but I think there's some profit taking happening already, and you've kind of hit the lower bull line. I usually call two of them. Previous support is twice, or previous resistance is twice. So we've hit the first rim. Can we hit the second rim? Maybe, but I think we're going to see some accumulation first. So as an investor, I like Toyota better. I did take my profit out at I think it was like 180, 80 or 89 or something like that, where I pulled it off on this swing. I might be interested in taking another long when it gets back to like 186 or so. It's just I'm a Toyota guy. Everything I own says Toyota on it, so you know I'm biased, obviously, but from an investment standpoint, it's been a great company, of course. But yeah, just be careful because there's going to be some profit taking probably in this range a couple more times before this breaks out or breaks down. It'll either give you a retracement or it'll give you, the bull move. And some of the technology they're coming out with solid state batteries and all that sort of thing, it's definitely pleasing. The investors are pretty happy about that, but just watch for profit taking in this area from the traders. Some of the people who got long down here are certainly doing what I did and took profit here. So anybody's game at this point. But I definitely like this much better than GM and even Ford. Although I do love trading Ford. Ford has been, just a freaking money machine when it comes to learning how to trade option strategies and just trading the swings in it. That thing's correct, just a great stock to trade. I just missed putting the damn ticker in. There we go. So, Ford, I was when we first started doing this, we were talking. I went long on it to this point. I think you might have shorted it on the outside of this thing in SJIM. Are you still short on Ford?
We are not. No, we've been out of Ford for a while.
Good deal, because that's like looking like it might give back half that trend and hit the $12 mark again. So it's certainly following my key levels pretty well. And I love trading this thing with options. I love teaching people how to trade complex option strategies and to practice them with Ford because it's such a slow mover. The delta is like very mild, but so is the theta. The time decay on this thing is very minimal. So you got lots of forgiveness in your option swings. It's not going to make you go broke right away. I have made some killer returns on this thing, running some debit spreads on it. I mean, I've had some things like back when it was making that diamond top. Um, back in this mess here. When it took that dive, dude, I was able to make some killer trades on that thing and had some like 450% returns on some rather interesting options positions. But here we are kind of planing out, coming back into give half this trend back. It's making the moves. They had a bad couple weeks there, and now they're starting to, get into a situation where I guess uh, profit would probably be coining his phrase, buy when they're afraid and sell when they're greedy type of thing. So the long-term people
Or
definitely
as
take
Larry
it.
Connors would say, buy the fear and sell the greed.
Yes, absolutely. And that's more of a trader versus investor type of standpoint. And, certainly we know the difference between the two, but being a trader, yeah, this is looking like it's made its move to cover this bar. There's some profit taking here. If it continues to trend, sure, it can shoot back half of this trend. Okay. In the meantime, there's going to be some great options trades coming into this thing, and I think we might be able to run some strategy testing and building as far as the bullish pairs is concerned to teach people. Because if this planes out and ranges for a while, that's when you get the best opportunity to learn options. So I love teaching on this thing. I like Ford for trading, but I like Toyota for investing. That's all. That's just the way I am. I'm biased. Well, we've pretty much crushed it. You got any others you want to mention?
So I mean, one that he said the other day, and it was after, some of the run up, but it'll be interesting to watch is Robinhood. That's been retail's been all over that. They've been
Oh yeah,
once coin ripped, then they started looking for sympathies and bought Hood. I mean, way extended, but we took a small position in SJIM just in case.
yeah. It's pretty damn parabolic. I'd love to see that sell off. It certainly broke just above that retracement of the previous move. It's at the upper echelon
Yeah,
of
I
where the
played
range
it
would be.
personally. I got out of it. Maybe it dropped too soon, but
Right?
I tend to do that. I'd rather get out too soon than too late.
Was he pounding the table saying buy, or was he like,
No, he was saying not to buy, but again,
of course,
it was 2 days ago, so it wasn't it wasn't a week ago, and then it went up as much as it went up. It was a couple of days ago.
nice. I'm surprised I missed that one. I'm always messing with
Oh yeah, I mean retail was all over this one.
I totally missed it. I was busy doing futures. um, one thing I was joking around with the other day, and they started charging 3 cents per side on their options contracts now, and they were free for so long. Um, I'm a high volume trader and a high frequency trader to beat all, but what I was doing is I was running lots of spreads on SPY in size on my Robinhood account, and I was teaching some of my friends how to do it because zero commissions is great. You can scalp, penny moves on the options chain and just kill it. Sometimes you get into a spread for like 2 cents and sell it for 4. You've made 100% return. Do that in size,
Right.
you got some money. And the thing is, it takes a whole bunch of contracts to do that. And although they're making money on order flow, someone's got to pay the piper when it comes to options. So, I was doing that, teaching others how to do it. I was joking around, like maybe I had a hand in them making the decision to start charging commissions on options trading because, my gosh, I've traded some serious volume on that platform. But now, like, maybe they're finding a new means of revenue in doing so because even at 3 cents a side, I'm not going to stop that. That's still worth doing. So,
Yeah.
you just change your 100% returns to like 96% returns. Okay, same beef. I'll take it. Um, is it going to continue to go up? I don't know. I can't really say, but I know that there's certainly some people starting to realize the usefulness of the Robinhood platform. And every one of my wheel trade strategies I run in my Robinhood account, and I do those in size, in some equities. And when I'm also running spreads and all sorts of stuff, I mean, I looked at last year, I traded somewhere to the tune of like 10,000 options contracts in a year, which is crazy. Who does that? But I do. And that was last year. I was fairly mild in options. The years before, I was trading way more than that. And now I'm cut back a little bit because I've had my focus on futures for a couple years now, more or less, to do my scalping. So there's order flow to be made in futures more so because the balance is the broker makes money on those. Do they make money on options for Robinhood? Probably not until they started charging commissions. Maybe they're at the break-even point at 3 cents a side. I don't know what the metrics are in the company, but I almost got to say, since I started showing people how to trade options in their Robinhood account profitably, you know, it kind of maybe made the difference to where like, hey, that volume's insane. We're losing our butt on this thing. Maybe we should start charging something for it. So I
Yep.
hate to say it, but maybe I had a part in that. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. I'm just a nobody, but who knows? you know.
Hey, don't sell yourself short. This podcast is famous at this point.
True, true. Even Jim's watched it, which is hey, that says something. I wonder if the execs at
Total.
CNBC are checking us out. You know,
Hey, Jim.
if they came up offering us Jim Cramer's job, would I say no? I don't know.
I mean, I would get ready. I mean, if you get a New Jersey phone number calling you, don't let it go to voicemail.
Good point. And I still have a 406 area code, so I tend to avoid the robocalls from 406. But hey, anyway, I think we've got some stuff that we've gotten on the charts. We've got a few trade setups to trade, and we've done our job. We've pretty much thrown shade at Jim Cramer. We've got a few swing trades out of it, and we've been able to call them out. Hey, can't complain. This is a good day. So again, thanks for
Exactly.
joining us, and be sure and like and subscribe. Please tell your friends. We want to be popular. We want to get out there in front of an audience. We want to take Jim's audience. If we can get that market share, or even a quarter of that, I'd be happy. So please help us out.
We got to start doing our own lightning round.
Yes,
Figure out a way to get people calling in.
I would totally do that. And then I've been kind of kicking
I
around the
would
idea.
too. That'd be fun.
We could certainly do something like this live on YouTube weekly, and have call-ins, or people who at least chat on the YouTube chat with us, and we'll be happy to talk back and forth and answer some questions even. So shoot us a couple comments. Tell us what you think. If you want us to do that, we can certainly take that into consideration, and at the very least, comment, maybe even ask us about a ticker or so, and we'll analyze it. We'll get back to you. We're not gonna ignore you. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a wonderful weekend, and try to be safe in some of your prudent options trades here, as far as Robinhood is concerned. But you know,
Mhm.
you've got plenty of movements out there to trade. So watch for rotation, watch for some good swings, and certainly be ready to scrutinize anything Jim says. Thanks again, everybody.